All right, the next one is called Eros. It's where we get our word erotic, right? It's named after the god Eros. I think the Romans called him Cupid, right? You know, the little baby and shoots the arrows and, hits you in the hearts and all of that stuff. This is called erotic love or passionate love. This is the type of love that is heavily emphasized in America. Everything they seem to want to attach an erotic passion to it. And this love, while it's healthy, enjoyed in a marriage, is dangerous if you do not put it in subjection. Every nation, every culture that has heavily emphasized erotic love has been destroyed, usually by themselves. They allow the people to go wild. They let this passion run wild, and they get taken down. They get taken over. Other nations come in and take over. It's not necessarily healthy. Well, if it's not healthy, then why do we have it, right, Yophi? Why do we have this love? Well, first, this love is necessary to be enjoyed by married couples. If you have an erotic love for your spouse, then that's good, because that means that you desire them physically. You desire their physical touch. You desire a sexual relationship with your spouse. And you're supposed to. It's not just for procreation of children. If you read Song of Solomon, you will see that a wife, and she's not a wife yet, but she desires to be married to this man, and this man desires to be married to her, and they talk about each other's bodies. You would think that you were reading an erotic novel, right? The way that this book goes, the Song of Solomon in the Bible. But God wanted to show how he felt, because he is not a physical being. So he does not have that same desire that Eros love, right? But he wanted us and physical bodies to be able to express a physical desire for another human being too. You see, this is the type of love that often people confuse. They think that because they have a bond with somebody else, that erotic love has to be there. And that's not true. That is not true. There are plenty of men that I have a friendship with. I don't desire them physically, right? And I'm not supposed to, okay? There are plenty of women that I have a friendship bond with, but I don't desire them physically. There is one person that I have saved all of that passion for, and that's my wife. She's the only person who gets that. She's the only one who deserves it. She's the only one who's going to get it. And that's how important that erotic love is to God. It is sacred. It should be treasured. Women should not be giving their bodies to anybody, right? Men, you should not be sleeping around, okay? Because this creates a passion that cannot be quenched. And the Bible calls it laying with someone. There's a difference between a man and a wife. The Bible says that Adam knew his wife and she conceived, right? This means the passionate love between a man and a woman, marriage, unit. But then when you lay with someone, the Bible used a completely different word, which shows that there can be an erotic passion that is not correct. And that is what the Bible calls sexual immorality, is when you take erotic form of love, when you take this passion and direct it to areas that it's not supposed to be, that God had never intended it to be. For instance, if you have a friendship bond with your pets, you love your pets. What if you take this erotic passion and direct it towards your pets? It's not right. That's not what God intended. Do you love your pets? Sure. Erotically. That's not right though. It does not make it right. It might be real. That does not make it correct. All love needs to be put in its proper place. A mother loves her son. She might have a very strong family bond to her son. See, Mary had a bond with Jesus that others didn't have, because she birthed him. You see? So, although others had a connection with Jesus, no one had that family connection to Jesus the same way that Mary did. But does that mean that Mary needed to now apply erotic passion to Jesus? No. That did not need to be. So we have to understand that all types of love have its place. And in America, erotic passion is all over the place. And they are telling kids, everyone, that no matter who you love, it's good. And that's not true. Because if there is a 45-year-old man and he is directing his erotic passion toward a 13-year-old girl, that's not right. You can't say, don't discriminate. You can't say, don't judge. Yes, you should judge. Because if my daughter is 13 years old and there's a man who cannot control his erotic passions and he wants to come in and try to have relations with my daughter, well, what if my 13-year-old daughter wants to? What if her erotic passions? No, we need to teach and train that just because you might be feeling that erotic love does not mean that it needs to be directed towards that. Not everything is good. A pedophile is someone who directs his erotic love towards children. And that is not right. That there's something wrong with your mind. You need help. But what do we say? Well, men with men, women with women, erotic love, it's just who they love. They're not hurting anybody. Well, I mean, you're not hurting anybody by having erotic love for your dog either. But that doesn't mean that it's right. Okay? That does not mean that it is a right thing to do. And we have to stop telling people that all of these things are right. There is a right way to love your family, right? And molesting your family is not the type of love that parents should express to their children. It's not. Exposing your children to all types of pornography is not the right way to love your children. Leaving your children home for long periods of time with no one, with no supervision or anything, that's a form of abandonment. The child will then feel abandoned and go start looking for love, not even understanding what love is. How many of us did not have that storge love and went out and then found ourselves in an erotic love while trying to get the love from family? How many of us were looking for friends, right? And then ended up in all types of abusive, harmful relationships because we did not understand. Why? Because we didn't understand these different forms of love. We didn't know how to apply it because the family unit was not there to even show us. Right? That's how important it is. And right now we can't emphasize enough that the erotic love that America says is so good is destructive when left unchecked. It is destructive. Every nation that has allowed erotic love to go unchecked has been destroyed. Every nation. And you can't say that you love people if you just want their erotic passions to just go wild. You can't say that. It's the same thing as saying that you love somebody and you're giving them drugs. What kind of friend, phileo love, loves their friend and you're giving them something that's going to kill them? Right? So it's not love. That's not love. It's not a natural thing. Family, natural. Friendship, natural. Passion, natural. You're supposed to have passionate love, but they're all directed. You are not supposed to have family love for inanimate objects. It's natural to have a family love, to desire it too, not for television. That's my brother. It's not your brother, that's a TV. Certain people, you're not supposed to have a friendship love for. And some people have that. That's my friend. No, that's not your friend. Your friend is beating you. That's not your friend. Your friend is looking out for your best interests, right? So, erotic love. Are you supposed to have an erotic love? Yes, you reach the ages of about 11 to 13, things start happening. You start desiring sexual relationships. What did Paul say? Get married. Mary, she was engaged. People think that like they get the pictures of Mary when she had Jesus and she was just grown. Mary was about 13. Mary was anywhere from 12 to 14 years old when she had Jesus, which means that she was engaged at 12 to Joseph. Am I saying that we should do that in America? I'm not trying to change the laws. What I am saying is that God knows full well that when you reach about 12, he knows what's going to happen. Right? So women reach that age of maturity a lot earlier, and they develop even in their minds faster than men, which is why you'll see women seek older men, because they're often more mature than men. Sorry, men. Women are often more mature. So Mary was engaged to somebody who was older so that they can be married for life. And there's speculation that Joseph died, which is why there's no mention of Joseph, Jesus' stepfather. There's no mention of him when Jesus was 30, because he was probably a little older and he probably died, right? Yeah.